So, Jake, you were on stage with Thomas Bach, the director of the International Olympic Committee. Could you ever imagine that you, as a pro gamer, would be one time on stage with one of the most important person in sports?
I never even imagined when I was young that I would be a pro gamer, right? It was a wild dream, a fantasy, something that I didn't think could ever really come true. And then this is just sort of like the next step beyond, you know, something that I couldn't even predict or even dream of, you know. So it's such an amazing moment, and I think it just shows how quickly esports is growing and reaching the wider audience.
And you were talking about the similarities with Thomas Bach between classical sports and esports. So do you think you're very close or you're very far away from each other?
I actually think there's more similarities than differences. I think at the end of the day, what's important is the reasons we do this, right? What motivates us. And you know, like I said earlier, it's the passion that inspires us to dedicate our lives to something, right? This, I think, is the same, that any athlete can understand what it is to dedicate your whole life to excellency in something. And I think for gaming, it's for me is no different, right? I feel the same. I think the same passion, the same dedication, the same crush of defeat, right? All these things to me, the emotional reasons that we get up in the morning to do what we do, for me, they're the same.
Is it a difference if you're starting for a team, for a city, or if you're starting for a nation? Because if esports is going to be at the Olympics, you're going to start for your home country. So this must be a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, to play for your country is a special experience. It's such an honor to be selected to you know, represent something much bigger than yourself. For me, even representing a city is something meaningful. You know, it's a people to support, and I think for anyone doing anything in the world to know that there's people who support you and that you're bringing them happiness and joy, that's a special feeling, right? To know that you're impacting people and changing the world, even in some small way, it's so important. So for me, national competition will always, of course, be, you know, so emotional. It's why the Olympic Games are the Olympic Games.
Do you think one day you're going to compete at the Olympics with esports?
I mean, at this point, I think anything is possible. Esports is growing so fast, things are changing so quickly, and you know, I think I have many years ahead of me. So who knows? I hope to be a part of it.
Is it necessary that esports is going to be part of the Olympics?
Not at all. I don't think there's any guarantees, and I don't think esports even really needs it, right? And just the same way, I think the Olympic movement maybe needs the engagement of the youth that esports has more than esports needs the legitimization of the Olympics. I mean, I do think that both parts can kind of come together and create a sum that is greater than the sum of their parts. So for me, that's what's most exciting.
Esports grew very, very fast. So in terms of, for example, organization, rules, or doping and stuff like this, esports is kind of behind and can really learn stuff from the IOC. So what do you think are the challenges for the esports?
There's a lot of challenges, but I think what's important to remember is look at any successful traditional sport in the days of infancy, right? In the very beginning of football, of basketball, of anything, right? Like the regulations weren't there, things went wrong, and lessons had to be learned, right? It takes time to grow and develop, and esports will be no different, right? Like the people must learn as competitors, as regulators, you know, all these things must grow naturally. So I think it will just take time. I don't think it's fair to judge esports on the same level as a traditional sport just because it's so popular so quickly. It will take time to learn the lessons necessary.
Did it grow too fast?
Absolutely not. I mean, it grows because we love it, right? And the people that come to watch, no one forces them. You know, there's nothing inorganic about it. People come and they dedicate their lives and they watch and they support and they cheer because of that passion. And I think that who's to say that's too fast? You can't tell somebody not to love.
What's your dream if you're old and looking back on esports, maybe 60, 70 years old? What should esports be like?
I hope it sort of embodies the Olympic values. That's one thing I've learned a lot about this week is you know, the Olympic values I think are, they cross any boundaries of sport, you know, and to bring that value of friendship and community building through peaceful competition, this is something that I think any competition should be aspiring to. So I hope esports can accomplish the same.
Thank you very much, Jake.
Thank you.
Esports.ch, powered by UBC.